Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So a few weeks ago I had asked you guys what kind of videos you would like to see on my channel, and I was quite surprised that you guys wanted to know how I started my luxury collection, kind of like the beginnings of my luxury journey. And oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm saying that phrase. Also, a lot of you guys have wanted to see like a Q&A style video too. That will be coming up very soon, but like I think this topic, even though, you know, it does fit into a Q&A style video, I think I could do like an entire video about this. So that's why I'm kind of separating it out. But do leave in the comments down below any questions you have for me. And yeah, I will compile them all into a separate video. This will kind of just be like a chronological type of story into kind of like the beginnings of my collection. I started this YouTube channel maybe about 5 years or so after buying my first luxury designer handbag. So everything post me starting my channel, I think I've been pretty transparent with you guys, but you know, like what happened prior to me starting this channel in 2020, that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. So I guess I didn't really grow up around people that appreciated luxury handbags, really cared about it or anything. My mom was always more into jewelry than handbags or shoes or anything of that sort, and not even like luxury branded jewelry, you know, just like bling in general, like diamonds and gold and stuff like that, but not specifically from like Cartier or Tiffany's or whatever. I think she did know about Louis Vuitton. I think that's probably like the only luxury designer handbag fashion brand she knew about. And I think a lot of that was just based around the fact that we lived in Chinatown in New York City, and as you might know, Canal Street is full of like vendors selling fake handbags. So you pick up on that type of stuff just walking down the streets every day and seeing that. So I never grew up around, you know, this type of like really expensive fashion or anything of that sort. And I don't think it was middle school when I finally kind of got surrounded a little bit by this type of stuff. Not even this like crazy expensive stuff, but I'm talking about brands like Coach or Michael Kors. Juicy Couture was a big one. You know, everyone back in the day had those like tracksuits. That was like a really big thing. And then those like terry cloth bags and whatnot. Yeah, that was a really big thing. Still in middle school, that was not something that, you know, like I could afford for myself. My parents would never buy me any of that stuff. And I think it was in high school when I started to get a few things from those brands that I just mentioned. And then there was another one called Dooney and Burke. I honestly never learned how to pronounce that brand's name, but I had like a few items from Coach and Dooney and Burke, whatever you pronounce that. Did I have any Juicy Couture stuff? I think I had a pair of sunglasses from them. I didn't ever have any of those terry cloth bags. What else did I have? Actually, would you guys be interested in seeing like a video of my first ever like somewhat more expensive handbags? I don't have any at home with me now, but I feel like my mom has probably kept them. She definitely doesn't throw many things out, so I feel like she might still have those. Yeah, let me know if you guys would like to see a video like that. In high school, for graduation, and I know, thinking back, this is like spoiled brat kid right here, but I asked my parents for a Chanel bag, like a Chanel classic flap. And it's funny because I graduated high school back in 2010, and I think the price for a classic flap back then was like $3,000 or something like that. Now it's like almost 3 times that price, which is insane to me. But anyways, I asked my parents for a classic flap, and they were just like, are you kidding me? No. So of course I didn't get it, which totally understand. I have agreed to that anyways. They did, however, buy me a MacBook for college, which, yes, definitely was a much better use of money. But yeah, I had asked for a classic flap, which, oh, so embarrassing to say. Like, how spoiled was I to say something like that? But yeah, didn't get it. College was honestly not very eventful. I don't think there really is much to say regarding like my love for luxury items. I'm going to jump straight into my first job out of college. And I vividly remember that like within the first month of me working there, I was in the elevator and then there was someone who walked in the elevator and she was probably still only in her 20s. And I remember she walked in the elevator and she had this dark green colored Birkin. And I remember thinking like, okay, I could finally start affording this stuff. And that's kind of what I did when I finally made enough money to buy luxury items. That's essentially what I did. So I got my first bonus from that job, and it was actually more than I thought it would be. So what did I do with it? I spent it on Chanel and Louis Vuitton. So I thought I knew what I was doing, but looking back, I really didn't know what I was doing at all because I bought 2 bags. So I went into Chanel, I asked for a black classic flap because that's what I wanted. And I didn't know that there was a caviar version and a lambskin version. So they showed me the caviar version. Beautiful, beautiful bag. So I bought it. Don't own it anymore, but yeah, that's the one I bought. And then I went over to Louis Vuitton, which was just down the block, and I bought myself a Neverfull. Also, don't own that Neverfull anymore. So the classic flap, I bought it for $4,900 plus tax. Sold it for $2,900 and then turned around and rebought that same bag in lambskin. So effectively I paid like $6,900 plus tax for it, which still costs less than it does today. And the Neverfull, I had purchased that in Damier Ebene with the bright red interior, and now I own the Damier Ebene with the rose ballerina interior. So as I said, I thought I knew what I was doing. Maybe I did have a little bit of a clue because I still do own those 2 styles of bags, but just not those exact ones. But anyways, I didn't really know what I was doing that much. And back then, I thought, okay, there are certain brands with very classic bags and I should really tick those off my list. Those are the ones I should have in my collection. I bought a lot of bags that I now no longer own for one reason or another, mostly because I would like a style of bag or think I should have it in my collection, and I would see it in a color that, yeah, it was nice, and I would buy it, and I wouldn't think about how it really fit into my collection or if I would use it. It was kind of, you know, like I said, just ticking items off of a list. I also bought a lot of shoes that I never really got the use out of. I was living in Manhattan for a good chunk of that time when I started working, and there was just no space, you know, like there was really no space to put all those shoes. So most of them were in shoe boxes, which made me not want to wear them. You know, I would just use what was convenient. So that was one of the reasons. But aside from that, it was just collecting things for the sake of collecting things, which is probably like a habit that I picked up from my mom growing up in a way. So clearly getting a full-time job and finally making good money was the start of this luxury journey. Some people would call it a shopping addiction, and they're probably not entirely wrong. So what did I do next? I decided, hey, I love fashion. Why don't I get a job at a company that is in this fashion retail space? So I ended up working at a department store for like 1.5 years. And let me tell you guys, my spending was through the roof when I worked there. I spent a good chunk of my paycheck shopping at that department store. And actually, as a side note, would you guys be interested in hearing about, like the items that I bought when I worked there and like the discounts that I got on those items? I think it's really interesting how companies are able to offer pretty steep discounts and still be able to make a profit off of selling those items. So yeah, if you guys are interested in a video like that, let me know in the comments down below. So that was also around the time that I was like, hey, let me try to get myself a Birkin or a Kelly. So I started shopping at Hermes, and honestly, even back then, I knew there was not really anything that I like from the store. I still do think their scarves are really pretty. I love the patterns on them, and I did back then too. So all I bought were scarves. And I calculated how much money I spent on their scarves, and I probably spent close to like $4,000 buying scarves from Hermes. And thinking back, it's so ridiculous how it is a lot of money. Spending $4,000 on scarves, come on, that's a ridiculous amount of money. But that's not even halfway to like a one-to-one spend at Hermes. Like people always talk about like, oh, you have to spend like $10,000 to get offered a $10,000 bag. And I spent so much money there. Probably to some people it's like peanuts, but $4,000 is a lot of money to spend on scarves. And I was not even halfway to that $10,000 spend. So I think I got smarter. Like you learn over time, and I think I got smarter, and I was like, I am not doing this. Why am I doing this? So I stopped shopping at Hermes altogether. And actually, even now, there's like one thing that I want from Hermes. Maybe one thing I want. I have my eyes on the Kelly belt. That's probably all that I even care to purchase from Hermes, but I'm not even like completely sold on the idea of owning that belt. Anyways, so that was that. I eventually left that job, and my spending then went back down. And the rest of it is kind of also not that interesting. I think I was saving for my wedding, saving to buy a house. So I didn't spend that much money. And I think that kind of like leads me to the start of my channel. Hopefully this gives you like a little glimpse into like me as a person. I think that's why people want me to do a Q&A. Of course, like I mentioned, if you have any Q&A questions that you want me to answer in a future video, let me know the questions in the comments down below. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do consider subscribing for new videos every single week on luxury and fashion. And I'll leave 2 videos on the screen for you to watch next. So I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.